Hi everyone. I'm in my garden today and it doesn't look very nice. Look at the grass. It's all dry and dead. Why? Because here in the UK we had a really dry, hot summer. In fact, they called it a drought. There was hardly any rain at all. I know. Who would have thought we could have a drought in the UK? Crazy. But drought, that's an interesting word. It has that OUGH phonograph that is so tricky and causes us so much trouble in English. There are at least 7 ways to pronounce it. Why don't we wander around the garden and think about some other words that have that OUGH and the pronunciation of the different sounds. So what other words have the OW sound, like drought? Well, have a look at this tree here. You might know the thing that sticks out there as a branch, but it can also be called a bough. A bough. It's kind of an old-fashioned term. You hear it mostly in old poetry and literature. It's in old nursery rhymes like, you know, rock-a-bye baby, when the bough breaks, the cradle will fall and down will come baby, cradle and all. Crazy. Who writes this stuff? Might give the babies nightmare. Anyway, right, so why don't we head on over and have a little break. I'm gonna walk through the playhouse and I'll meet you on the other side. I went through the playhouse. Through, that's another word with a different pronunciation. It has that oo sound. Now, we don't find it in any other words, it's just that one. Right, now let's think about some more words. Oh, plough. Plough also has the ow sound, like bow and drought. Okay, do you know what it is to plough? It's when you dig up the ground, ready to plant seeds, like what a farmer does. They dig up the ground using a plough. So it's a noun and a verb. And they plough the field ready to plant their seeds so that they can grow their crops. Okay, come with me. We'll go over to the chairs and tables. All right, let's have a look at this poor garden. It's looking a bit rough at the moment. Some of the plants didn't even survive the drought. Rough. That's another word with OUGH. It has that uff sound, a bit like stuff. The garden is looking a bit rough because it didn't get enough rain, and now the ground is hard and tough. I got 3 into one sentence. Rough, enough, and tough. Okay. Pretty good. All right, have a look at our garden furniture. We bought it a few years ago. I thought it might be a bit uncomfortable, but turns out it's quite comfortable. They look like they're made from wrought iron. I don't think they are, but they look like it. Wrought, there's another word. And bought and thought, with that ought sound, a bit like port. So, do you know what wrought iron is? It's that fancy metalwork that they have around parks and sometimes on balconies. Actually, our bench seat over there is made from wrought iron. I think I'll have a snack while I'm here. Just a minute. Excuse me, sorry. Oh, sorry, the cookie made me cough. Oh, it was a bit dry and crumbly. Maybe I should eat from a trough instead of a plate. Do you know what a trough is? It's one of those long, narrow containers that you use for feeding animals. Did you notice cough and trough have the same sound? Off. Anyway, next time I make biscuits, I think I'll add a bit more butter. Although, it might have been the cooking time. Maybe I cooked them for too long. Never mind, I'm terrible at cooking. Did you spot the next sound? O, do, and although. O. Okay, now come and have a look at my pot plants. Have a look at my pot plants. They're looking pretty good. Despite the drought, I still managed to give my pots a thorough watering each day. In our borough, we had a ban on using hoses, but that's okay because I had my trusty watering can, so I could still give the plants a drink. Now, in the UK, a borough is like a local area that has a council that looks after things like rubbish collection and schools. It's a borough. So did you spot the next sound? It's like an sound in thorough and borough. There are a few other local variations of the use of OUGH, but I think I've covered enough for one day, all the main ones, so that should do it. But I hear you ask, what are the rules for deciding which sound to use? The bad news is there aren't any. I'm so sorry. If I'm reading a book and I come across a new word with OUGH, I just have to look it up, just like you do. So yeah, there's no hard and fast rules. And don't get me started on place names. Oh my goodness, the variety of the sounds they use in place names is crazy. Have a look at this word. What do you think it says? Well, we pronounce it Loughborough. It's got two of these tricky OUGH sounds in it, and they're both different. What about this one? That one's Slough. Crazy. Okay. But thanks for joining me on my tour around my garden. It's been so good to have you here, and hope you join me next time. Bye.